let's do this. I didn't want to do it because I didn't know whether you will be coming, and you did come. It's about, if you look at, the Daily Guide has been going on this for the last 3 days, I should say. The Daily Guide. I think they are milking the situation. It's about your party.
Yes,
you know the committee that was set up headed by Professor Kwesi Botwe?
Yes.
They've been going around.
Yeah.
And apparently some of the things are not only getting to the committee, but also are even being addressed in the media.
Yeah.
What even seemed to have intensified or exacerbated the situation was when your former chairman, that's Dr.
Kobenaje.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
He was on one of the radio stations in the crowd. And some of the things that he said were very unpalatable.
Yeah.
It seemed, if you look at aesthetically observing, it seemed to be very true.
Yeah, let me say
your party seemed to be in chaos than the way you described the MPP to have been chaos.
No, I don't think the party is in chaos. You know, there are stages when there's, I always say success attracts, failure repels. Are you getting? Now, when it comes to defeat and others, even within a family, people want to apportion reasons why there was a defeat. I think why that is in the states we find ourselves as a party now, where people have issues, bitterness against each other, that if we had done this properly, I don't think we would have lost. Yes, it is clear that along the line there might have been disconnect between the grassroots and the party echelon, the party and the government appointee, that is the executive and the party. But you know, it was being managed. I always say that what is even happening in the party tells you that the party is alive. We have been like in the cemetery. It's only in the cemetery that there's quietude. Everything there in the cemetery is quiet. So far as there is issues, conflicts within us, then you know that we are living, we are alive. The party is alive. People now want to take issues with others that we think that you did not perform well, we think that you did not help issues, and these issues will be, you know, put together by the Professor Kwesi Botwe. I think all that has been said in the media, most of them will reflect in the recommendation. We will look at it, and I'm sure that structures will be put in place to tax how we go back. People who genuinely felt that, look, we have not been helpful, I'm sure if they come and say that, look, or the way we treated others, we are not happy about it, it happens. Even with the government now, some people who feels that we have worked and we haven't gotten anything also feels embittered.
Really?
Yes.
Who told you?
Oh, no.
Okay, we're talking the NDC.
Yes. So you see that in every political party, it is a conglomeration of vested interest. Within a party, there are factions. You know, this thing comes up when, because we'll be going for Congress soon, people who want to put themselves to be elected, people who want to give themselves a chance to run as presidential or flag bearers. Those are things that when it starts. But I'm sure our party is clear on one thing, that when we are in opposition, the leader of the party is the national chairman. It is clear in our constitution. And I'm privileged to be part of that constitution, so I know it clearly, that the leader is the national chairman. I believe all this is going on. We have structures. Yes, people want to vent their anger, their bitterness, their frustration. The appropriate place where it should be done is to table these issues before the committee. So all that is going on, for me, I don't see it as implosion within the party. I had always expected that this is a phase within the party. Don't also forget, there's one thing people normally forget. When you're in government, the executive or the presidency, you know, and even the party, it is not something dissent. It's not tolerated within the party. When you're in government, because when you always want
dissent is not tolerated.
It is tolerated, but it's managed.
Because
it's
they feel
guided.
that they are in government.
Yeah,
so you don't
when
have to
you're in government. Yes. So when people have even issues, it is expected that it is guided and it is done.
Managed.
Because if not, the state machinery and others within the party could be used against you.
Have you met the committee already? You seem to have so much bottled there, but because the way you're saying.
Now, when you are in opposition.
Have you met the committee already?
The committee I haven't met. I have colleagues who are members, so we talk.
So your views are.
Oh, they are no. And when you're in opposition, now it's time everybody for him. So everybody thinks that I want to make impact, and there's dissent. Everybody is erring, but in government, the way you communicate, things you say, is different from when you're in opposition. In opposition, they are either free for all, but in government, you cannot be seen to be saying something. So that's
but it looks as if now the NDC is now in turmoil, or supposed to be the entity or the party in turmoil, and the NPP all looks good.
I think it's a growing process.
Yeah.
MPP in 2009, we had our own issues, and it metamorphosed into what happened prior to the 2016 elections. And you see, the NDC decided to concentrate on our problems instead of addressing theirs. Okay, so it was all about how MPP is divided and chaotic and all that. Meanwhile, on the side, we knew and we're hearing things, and you only need to be on the other side for it to explode, and that is the results we are seeing. The various factions will play out with time. People are realigning and repositioning themselves. Trust me, by the time this ends, we'll have 3-4 different factions, all vying for offices and positions and spheres of influence to prepare the party for the next phase of election. And so if you're hearing these comments from all those various people, it's to be expected. For me, as a political scientist, I wouldn't be too excited about it. What I would rather do is ask the MPP to be learning from it. One good thing that has happened is that they commissioned a team, a committee, to look into the issues and put it down. So they will have a historical record that they can refer to. That will guide them. I think it's a very good step. It's a very good learning process. I would only pray that they would follow what the recommendations are when it's finally brought out. And I would urge the committee not to hide whatever it is. Look, the NDC, whether we like it or not, is a Ghanaian institution. From the little I have learned in politics, is NDC, MPP. The rest, they are just hanging around. It will never change. We have come to establish a two-party state. It's either NDC or MPP that will be in government. They would have to learn and actually accept that what they are doing is a public interest thing.
And that they have a responsibility to grow the democracy.
Yes, so they should put it out there. If they will have to fight and bite each other, insult each other, and settle it, it will. Then after that, you move on. The NPP had ours.
Richard,
it was
sometimes
so
you
terrible.
don't talk like a politician at all.
Oh, why?
You talk like an academic.
No. Oh, no, but I have that background as well.
Being frank.
I have that background as well. So
I'm sure his colleagues won't like him too much.
No, I don't intend. Look, seriously, for me, we should be looking at the NDC and learning seriously, because if you are in government and you're having your differences and you are pretending you don't have them, when the baton changes, it will explode the way it has.
Yeah.
So I hope that we are watching and that we are able to at least cement the party and the government. Whilst we are in government, we are able to have a structure that deals with our differences whilst we are in government. If we pretend we don't have any problems because we are in government, it will come back to bite us.
But at the end of the day, let's look at since 1993, because on 7th of January 1993 we had the first, let's say, elected government. Yeah. In the Fourth Republic, it was a Rawlings era. Then we had a Kufuor era, and I mean change, and then another change in which we had Mills, Mahama. For the political parties, is it, if you look at that trend and those periods of transitions and then the changes that the parties go through when they lose, are the signs and perhaps the symptoms and the causative factors all the same, or sometimes the the generalized societal and globalized democratic changes sometimes tend to influence the parties and the way they tend to operate. And the way you
Yeah,
even will operate in
definitely.
opposition.
Every party, when a party is in government, its constitution is different. When you come into opposition, the
If you say it's
experiences-
constitution, you
yeah,
mean-
the constitution of the party.
Okay,
You
okay.
always amend. Every Congress we go, there are some amendments that we make, because the experiences that you've had as a government and a party in government will be different when you are in opposition. So there will be some amendments that will be tabled. Some of the things that maybe I can tell you that maybe we would, going forward, would say is that what should be the relationship between the party and the executive when we're in government. You know, these are places that...
Why?
Because issues. It comes about power relations between the presidency.
Because one is said to
between
be a
the
leader
party.
when you're in power.
Yes.
And then
Yes. So you find some of the issues, people who also come in. Don't also forget that within party from 92, when you're in opposition, people blame the executives and others that you did not do well. We brought the party into power. You have sent us into opposition. So let's clean the slate, bring in new faces. So there are people who are also lacing their boot that we want to take position. So you see new generation coming. The disconnect at the point is that when the experienced ones, the old ones, who had to take along the new faces and people to chaperone them into what has to be done, you find some disconnect. You get your point. I can even tell you that whilst we were in government, some of the founders and people who started this party in 93 or even cadets, some of the new ones and other people who didn't even know them. So they also felt...
because of a generational gap.
Generational gap, because they feel hurt and say, we started this party, we died for this party, you know, and we come, the kind of appreciation and the gratitude, so we find it's not there, because the new people who have even come on board, there have not been any kind of succession plan where you get to know all the people, the history of the party and others. So these are all issues that when you come into your constitution and others may change and say, look, this is the way to go forward. It gets to a time also we look at succession planning, that within the party, how do we go? This is our philosophy, how do we go? It's a whole gamut of issues that comes up when parties are in government and parties are in opposition.
I want to, as you make a comment, I want to ask, how does the way we are Africanized, and I have only 3 minutes on this, so the way we are African and the way we relate in terms of ethnic, communal relationships, etc., how does it sometimes become a barrier, or if well managed, could also foster the synergy? I'm asking this because, for example, I went to a minister, current minister, he's my friend. At the time when the Kufuor government was in power, I hadn't seen him before. And then when I was there, some people who I knew from the Kufuor era, who were party people, like party boys, or were in the party office, and then I'm sure they were with the party during opposition, and they came to him, and he said, please don't come, I have visitors. You know, that kind of thing. And sometimes the mindset is, I've been appointed fresh. I have to work. There are serious government issues. There are this and that. How do you create that spirit of communalism where it is brought from our customary and traditional ways and try to blend to create that? And yes, what about government? That's a upuyeng. You know that kind
No,
of
you see, that's what he was speaking to.
it's a very dicey thing.
The vehicle through which you become government is the party.
Yeah.
And when you get into government, you think the party is separate from you. Then when you lose, you come back to that same vehicle to take you back. So naturally, there is a divergence and some disagreement there. You, as political parties and a young democracy, would have to learn how to fuse the two and make them work properly. This issue you are talking about, it speaks to the various divisions that existing, all the political parties that we take into government. I don't think it's much about our ethnic backgrounds. It's
no, it's more like a communal living, not necessarily ethnic.
But see, if you look at the MPP currently, we have tried to ensure that the executives who brought the government into being stay and continue to work as well, so that you don't merge the two. But then create a camaraderie between the two that would ensure there is unity and that we are all focused on what is going on. So you see yourself not just as a party or party executive sitting at the headquarters, but you have a role to play in the success of the government. At a point, if you followed what was going on in the NDC, the executives, some at least, felt isolated and alienated. Like he said, you could see, oh, some complained. Some complained. You had someone as high-ranking as Alban Bagbin complained how it's difficult to have access to the president. The founder of the NDC has had cause to complain that he's been neglected. And you've had actually, how did the whole issue of babies with sharp teeth come about? It's due to this division. So we will have to find a way of fostering and ensuring there's a smooth to and fro between party and government when we are when the transition takes place. But for me, the lesson to be learned is that what is happening in NDC is not peculiar to them, and that we should also learn lessons out of that and make sure that we don't repeat their own mistakes. I will be very interested in their report, so that I will read and see how that can help the MPP not go where they have been.
Wow. Yeah, Roland, just your question.
We have to wrap up.
I have always said that we need to look at where we are coming from, what are our challenges. That would foster, when it comes to the communal and the tribal thing you are talking about. Yes, I'm known as an NDC man. I have very good friends within the MPP.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
So you are more.
Even yes, that's where there's a mistrust and the deep suspicion that the fact that he's an MPP and I have I can't deal with being a friend. That is what causes the problem.
I have both friends in the party, so
now,
in both parties,
you see,
so I keep on.
You need to have, if you have friends in the, maybe I
don't have permanent friends
who are in the executive now. Listen, if I have friends who are in the executive now, I can't go and visit them. That used to be the issue. But now we need to see. I tell my friends who are in the MPP in Volta region, I tell them that, look, at the end of the day, it is how the region moves forward.
Yeah,
that is what we need to do. We need to do that. Look, this is the way we all want. As citizens, this is where we want to get to. So if you find yourself in power today, make sure you continue with what we are doing. And if we know what we disagree on, the position we disagree, I think it harnesses even the relation. Because I know my friend here, what he believes in and what he will agree. I know what he would disagree with me. So when I'm having negotiation and discussion with him, I know where the fault lines are. And I know how we can, but because where we came from, there's that mistrust that when they see you with him, they say, this man is a mole. They are exchanging some information.
Are you accused that way sometimes? Why are you wearing red? You look like you are sad because of all this thing that's going on.
No.
Anyway, Victor Kojoga Daudu is a legal practitioner and he's here with me. Yeah. Thanks for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
I know you have a funeral and I wish you all the best for the day. I know another good friend I have. He says, I don't have permanent friends. Indeed, I have permanent friends. I have permanent interests too. Yeah? You're my good friend. It's your time now. I'll be on you very soon. Richard Nyama is a member of the MPP. He's a political scientist, but he's also an entrepreneur as well. And thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
All right. So we are taking a break, but please, Promasidor, they are the producers of Onga. And you all see those cartoonist adverts running on TV and radio, etc. And they want to set a world record, having the longest table of buffet and cookery and everything. They are doing that at the Independence Square tomorrow. And they are in here to speak about it. Mama Vio Sobwaji will be speaking to them. And you should also know that Uncle Lebo White, Roverman Productions, they have a new play titled Blackmail. I'm in to watch it when after the premiere, it's itemized on the various circuit for us to have a good watch. But it's all up for discussions up next. Just in case you want to get interactive, Facebook, Join Us on TV, and also our Twitter handle, Join Us on TV, are all there.